A few weeks after my book Clarkston's Curse launched, I received a call from a friend of mine. Apparently, Clarkston's Curse was the talk of the town on Facebook. I was flabbergasted. So naturally, I logged on and started to read. Many longtime locals agreed there was something unusual, unnatural, eerie if you will, going on in our small town since the 70s. Others, not so much. In 1968, my parents purchased 40 acres of property where the Allen Farm once stood. The old man who sold my parents that 40 acres said the original home had burned to the ground. I used to see the ghost of a little girl in the upstairs hallway. I can remember vividly feeling someone breathing on my neck when I sat at the kitchen table. My 10-year-old niece had similar ghostly encounters. She would be asleep in my room and begin brushing away at an apparition. "Stop it," she would demand. Maybe the little girl I often saw in the hallway just simply wanted to play. Who were these ghosts? Was our town haunted? Was it cursed? Is it still cursed? And if so, why? There have been several theories tossed around over the years, but no one really knows. What I do know for sure is I was profoundly affected by what I experienced when I was young, and I wasn't the only one. I would have to say Enos Church is probably Clarkston's most famous spirit. He served as our township supervisor in the 1850s. Carol Eberhardt actually lived in Enos's house in 2013, and she believes he still roams that house. She said he would open closed doors even when they were locked, and the only way she could get him to stop was to yell. Another resident, Tom Braun, also had a run-in with Enos Church. Tom and 3 others were leaving the Masonic Temple when he heard a voice call out his name. When turning around to reply, he saw a man in a long coat and hat enter the building, right through the brick wall. The Clarkston Historical Society has backed up Tom's story. Visitors to the building report that the Mason's ceremonial bell will start ringing for no reason. When inside, cold spots can be felt throughout. When taking pictures, energy orbs appear. Tony Smith has said there is one spirit in Clarkston that is not fond of the alcohol sold in the Clarkston Union. There have been 3 sightings of a woman dressed in a Victorian outfit inside the walk-in cooler, and she appears to be very angry. Perhaps she doesn't like we locals drinking in a church. And then there is Chip Travis. Mr. Travis was outside repairing the porch steps of his Holcomb Roadhouse when he was approached by an elderly couple. The woman told Mr. Travis a story about the tree that stood in his front yard and how she used to play on it until tragedy struck. Sarah, one of the 3 children who resided in the home, died unexpectedly. The neighborhood children would peek through the window and see the grieving family still setting a place at the table for the dead child, thus branding it the scary house. Doors opening on their own, writings appearing on mirrors, those are just some of the unexplained events in the house that was built in the mid-1800s. George Eliot and his wife moved into the home in 1917, and they had experiences of their own. It has been said that the ghost in the house was not fond of George, and he was often forced to sleep outside in the barn. When Mr. Travis first moved into the house, he saw messages appear on mirrors, all in German. Translated, the messages read, "Welcome and do not be afraid." The ghosts were known for leaving gifts over the years. One gift was a heart charm. Mr. Travis's girlfriend placed the charm inside a box, only for it to go missing. A few days later, charm was found in the basement. Experimenting, Mr. Travis put the charm under a glass cup. It went missing again. The charm was found 2 weeks later in the very same spot in the basement. Perhaps these spirits were responsible for the tragedies that I wrote about in my book, or maybe not. I have another theory, but that is a story for another day.